What up, y'all? This your boy Ace here, and welcome to Ace's Angels, y'all. I had to make this video, man. I definitely wanted to get my 2 cents in about this. So, there's been this ridiculous claim. So, I was going to do a video, or I did record a video talking about Bree Hall being released, but it had nothing to do with the stuff that started to come about Bree Hall's release a little later. Because I made that video the other day, and I was just going to talk about like how Bree Hall was always going to be released just from the get-go, no matter what she did. And obviously she looked good in the game on Sunday where she scored 9 points. And so people were taking it to another level on social media and stuff like that Bree Hall was cut on the Fever because of the color of her skin. And I was just like, oh my God, here we go. So I was making a claim, and I never did release this video, y'all. It was a 50-minute video that I did, exposing a lot of things that I thought was going on with the Fever when they did not draft Lexie Olsen and Serena Sundell, who are way better players than Bree Hall, right? So the Indiana Fever in the draft, as y'all know, they took Timpson, which was actually looking like the right pick. You know, that was actually, they needed a big anyways. You know, Sedona Prince, after doing what she did, they couldn't draft someone like that. Some of the other bigs weren't available that they could have drafted, like Alexis Markowski or Anika Saltu. Like, they couldn't draft those players, right? So there wasn't many of them left. And Timpson was someone that was actually supposed to be drafted a lot higher than she was, and she slipped right into the Fever's lap. So they've already been calling her like one of the steals of the draft. I'm not going to say she's the steal of the draft because Olsen and Sundell were taken behind her. They will have to be the biggest steals because they were drafted behind her. So, but we got to see how they turn out as pros, though. So, but that ended up being the right pick. But that is a black girl, Timpson, right? So then they take another black girl by surprise, Bree Hall. That angered the shit out of me because I was like, how do you take Bree Hall over Lexie Olsen and Serena Sundell? And so I'm already over here and I'm like, wait a minute. Indiana Fever only had 3 white girls on this team. If anything, we should be arguing for why there's not enough white players on this team anymore. Because we had, like, the Fever, I've been a Fever fan going back to the Tamika Catchings days. I was a Tamika Catchings fan. That's how I became a Fever fan, right? And so Stephanie White was on the coaching staff when we won the first championship back in 2012, and for the franchise. And at first I was getting real excited because also Stephanie White was on Pokey Chapman's staff, and I was also a Chicago Sky fan when Deladon was on the team, and Stephanie White was on the coaching staff then before she went to Vanderbilt. Well, actually she went back to Indiana, but then she, Vanderbilt was where she went to for college, right? And then she went to Connecticut, back in the WNBA, and now she's with the Fever, right? So, anyways, well, you had that whole situation, right? And the Fever, the last few years, have always kept a good portion of whites on the team, right? Last year, it was actually quite a bit last year. It was Caitlin Clark, Lexie Hull, Grace Berger, Christy Wallace, and Katie Lou Samuelson. So it was about 5. We had 5 last year. And that's a lot for the WNBA because the league coming into last season was still heavily black. Now, the demographics are starting to change in basketball a little bit, especially at the college level, where I do think we're going to see more and more white ballers coming to the sport, white female ballers coming to the sport. So I do think it's going to continue to get a little bit more diverse. But I think just in general, even in the men's game, I think basketball in general will always be more of a black-dominated sport. But the demographics are definitely going to get lower as far as the number of blacks on each team. I do think that's going to come down quite a bit in the next 10 years. There's too many girls that will be watching Caitlin Clark who will start playing ball, will be as good as her, and they'll be in the league in the next 10, 15 years. And so the demographics are going to change a lot just because of Caitlin. And that's why they were scared of Caitlyn, because they knew Caitlyn was going to change the game on that level and take opportunities away from black females who, got a chance to change their families' lives, get into the league, and change their own lives, make the type of money that they definitely wouldn't have made unless they were playing pro basketball. You know what I'm saying? And it's understandable, but I don't think the game will ever be completely taken away from black females. I don't think the game going to be ever, because they gotta, the way their bodies are built, they're going to always be in the mix and have jobs in the league. It's not going to ever be like a Jim Crow league where it's like all white players, man. No, but I do think we're going to see an increase. I do think we may end up getting to a point where we go from seeing like maybe just 3 white girls on the team to maybe 6 or 7. Maybe half the roster being white. I do think we're going to get to that point. I think that's great. I think we need diversity on each team. Because I think that was one of the things that was not appealing for the fans for so long. And you got to remember, America itself is like 70% white or 65%. I don't know what the demographics are now. But last time I heard it was like 65 to 70%. So the country is still a majority white, right? And then with Trump talking about he won Canada and stuff, and we know Canada is a very white country as well. Like, it's just going to continue to be a white country. And white America can relate to white players, which is why these white girls are looking at Caitlyn and they want to be her, right? That's just how it is. If you're black, you want to see someone that's your skin color doing their thing. It's just how it is, right? And there's nothing wrong. I don't feel like there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you should be inspired by someone that looks like you. You know what I'm saying? But, so, in my opinion, like I said, I think that they're, like, on the fever, at least right now, going from 5 white girls to 3, that's enormous, because you literally only got 3 white girls on the team, and the majority of the roster is black. So for someone to be screaming racism about Bree Hall, that's nuts. They passed up on 2 white girls who could have easily served as backup point guards. They got rid of a good one in Grace Berger. Grace Berger is a good one, and she proved it on Tuesday night why it was a mistake that the Fever even cut her. Had a great performance on Tuesday. 7 points in that game, coming off the bench for the Lynx, looking like she's going to probably make that team. To cutting her with Sid Colson, a clown. Everyone knows she's a clown, bro. Sid Colson's a clown, man. She's more of a clown than a player, right? The only good thing about Sydney Colson, wherever she goes, she is a good locker room person, and she's been on championship teams. But outside of that, what does she really give you on the court? What does she give you on the court? Grace Berger already scored more points than her in one game than the 2 games she played over the weekend. Because the Fever played 2 games this past weekend. Colson hit like 1 3, and that was it. During all those minutes she played, she hit 1 3. Like, that was it. That's crazy, right? And then you have Lucy Olsen, who's a bucket getter, could do everything, could play defense, could pass the ball, shoot. Serena Sundell, same damn thing. And Serena Sundell is even better than Lucy Olsen, because she was supposed to have been taken in the top 12. A lot of people thought she was going to the Chicago Sky. They decided to get Haley Van Lith, which I think is a better fit for him. Angel Reese already knew her too, so I think that was probably a better move for him. I think Serena being in Seattle is actually a better move for her to play with Malanga. Malanga needs someone to feed her the ball. And then if Nika Moe, when she comes back next year, if they're in the backcourt together at some point in the future, she could play the 2. And you got 2 guards that can pass, and one of them could really shoot. And Serena Sundell score the basketball. So to not have one of those 2 on the team over Bree Hall, because all Bree Hall gives you is she's a really good perimeter defender, but she's not really good at offense. Like, she's not that type of player. Like, she's just a really good defender. But outside of that, like, what does she really give you that Lucy Olsen and Serena Sundell wouldn't have gave you? And so I always thought about that, and I was like, that always bothered me since the draft, like why the Fever did that shit. And so we had more of an argument over here for that reason. So if you're someone who's a pro-black person, because y'all know I'm black myself, if you're a pro-black person and you're screaming that Bree Hall was cut for racial reasons, it's because you're thinking, oh, Caitlin Clark, she's the reason why she got cut. Caitlin Clark didn't want her because she was black. What? Because one of the rumors that I heard was that she wanted Sydney Colson. Shouldn't Grace Berger still be on the team? If that was the case, shouldn't Caitlin Clark be fetching for Lucy Olsen to be on the team? Someone that she washed their eye with this past season? Serena Sundell. If that was really the case, I think one of those white girls would have been her backup point guard. If that was really the case, why would they just go ahead and draft Bree Hall then? Like, make it make sense. For real. Make it make sense. Make it make sense for real. No, that is not the reason why she was dropped. She was never going to make the team. And even there was some Fever fans that said it on draft night because of the limited roster space. She wasn't going to make the team anyways. Which was... It's one of the reasons why I hate when... Especially in the WNBA, because it's so limited roster space. The WNBA, when they draft players and they don't end up making the team. I hate that. I've been hating that for years, but I understand. But I've been hating it for years, the way they got it. But that's the way they got it. It is what it is. That's the way they have it. But Bree Hall was never going to make the team because they don't have roster space. She was never going to make the team. No matter what she did in the preseason, she wasn't going to make the team. I'm sure they would have liked to keep her because she does play good defense, but they were never going to keep her. All right, they were never going to keep her. And again, if you're fetching for white people don't want her on the team, because what they're going to try to do now is, okay, the Fever front office, Kelly, I was about to say Kelly Kapowski, man. So you got Kelly Crosspoff, Amber Cox, they're both white. And then Stephanie White is white. But that doesn't make any sense because Stephanie White is probably known for being a woke coach. A lot of us had a problem with Stephanie White being the coach because we felt like she was making the roster woke, right? She got in Breonna Turner, who is a social justice warrior. Social justice warrior. Stephanie White literally carried a black team in Connecticut last year. Like Marina Mabry and old girl, what's her name? Bickle, right? She was like the only white girl on the Sun roster last year until Marina Mabry came. Her whole team was black, right? Stephanie White, guess who her wife is? A black woman, Lisa Salters. Bro, Stephanie White is far from being someone that hates black people. Far from it. Far from it. Right? Far from it. I don't even paint her in that damn light. I got more of a problem why she don't like her own damn kind. Why didn't you draft Lucy Olsen or Serena Sundell? You know what I'm saying? I could make a case that she like looking at these younger black women on the goddamn court. Shit. And y'all sit up here talking about some Bree Hall was cut for racial reasons. That is so goddamn retarded. That's tone deaf. And that's why I say, one of the things that I hate as a black person, bro, our people love to play the victim card. They love that goddamn victim card. And then when you expose it to them that that's what you do, they get mad and they get in an uproar. Like, oh, we ain't playing no goddamn victim card. No, but hey, is that not what you're doing? Because every time something happens to one of us, that's the card that we play. We play that goddamn card every single time something happens to us. And I'm talking about when it's not when it's warranted. I'm not talking about like something where a racial white cop pulls over a black person that was doing nothing in their vehicle. Doing absolutely nothing, gets pulled over. for the color of their skin. I'm not talking about something like that. I'm talking about literally every time something happens, that's the card we pull. You know what I mean? And it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Now there's no justice for her. Because I think that someone was also trying to make this claim for Cheyenne Sellers with an Asian coach and Natalie Nakasi from the Vegas Aces. So on that Golden State Valkyries team, they were trying to portray that. So are teams just not allowed to cut black players, man? Is that what it is? If you cut a black player, it's racial. Is that what we're doing, man? Is that really what we're doing now? So we cut a black player. That's what we're doing now. Let's screen race. Oh, they're black. They got cut. They're black. They gotta be racist, man. They gotta be racist. This is why I'm not a pro black person, man. Because I hate that shit. I hate that shit, man. I don't like racist white people either. I don't like it from both sides. That's why I don't follow that channel. What's it Black and White Sports, man. And one of the problems I got on that channel, and another thing I don't like is sexist. I hate fucking sexist. I hate dudes that hate women's sports because it's women. Hate those dudes. I hate that as well. I hate anything where people hate on people for something that's out of their control. Something that they was born with. I hate that shit. Like, hate me for my character, for something I did. Hate me for something that I did. That's something that I could control. You know what I mean? But don't hate me for something because I ain't got control because of the way I was born. Like, that's retarded, But people are retarded, People are retarded in general. But, yeah, man, like, this whole Bree Hall thing is stupid. It's stupid. I do hope the best for her. I think there's a place for her in the WNBA, but if not, she's just going to have to go overseas just like everyone else. Sedona Prince got to go overseas to build back her reputation because of the dumb shit she was doing at home, Because she really should be in the league, Sedona Prince is a hell of a talent. But she dumb. She didn't, did what she did. Hopefully she could slowly work her way back in the league. But that's crazy though, man. That's a crazy reason. Crazy reason, man. And like on this channel, people might look at me as racist because I always shine light on the white ballers, but I do that for a reason. And the reason why I do that is because I feel like the white female ballers don't get a lot of respect in the media and on certain channels on social media. Like Paige was really like one of the only players, Paige Beckers, was really one of the only white players that I've seen like get that kind of hype. Caitlin's hype was organic. People keep saying, oh, she had the media hype train behind her. No, not at all. That was all the fans. That's the fans making that noise. That was not the media making that noise. The media was forced to cover Caitlin. The fans forced the media to cover Caitlin the way they did. They had no choice because she's one of the brightest players in the league, and she's changing the game. They had no choice but to cover her. But they weren't going to cover her organic. Their girl was Paige Beckers. The original Caitlin Clark was Paige Beckers. She was supposed to have been that person for them. You know what I mean? That was supposed to be her. So no, it was not them just pushing Caitlin Clark because of the color of her skin. No, not at all. Not at all. That was all organic. I had never seen something like that either. I've been watching the women's game since '97 when the WNBA came out, And then I started watching a little bit of women's college basketball after that, after I fell in love with just watching women's basketball, but as a youngster. But like, dude, I ain't never seen someone. That was one of my main motivations because I did it in track and field with Abby Steiner. I felt like Abby Steiner was changing the sport a little bit, and even if she never gets to the greatness that she's supposed to get to, I mean, she had a lot of injuries. I think there's going to be other white track athletes behind her who are going to be maybe better than her, and they're going to make their mark because they were motivated off of what she accomplish in 2022. And so that was my motivation for really covering track. And I wanted to just shine light on them, and I'm doing it now. I'm shining light on the white female basketball players. That's the motivation of this channel. That's why you continue to see white female players always shine on my channel, because ain't nobody else going to do it. Who else out here is really talking about Grace Berger like that? Who else out here is really talking about Serena Sundell like that? You know what I mean? You put those players in there, you're not going to see it. You might see Haley Van Lith because she's a big name. You might see Paige Beckers because she's a big name. But are you going to see these other girls? These other girls in the league? Bridget Carleton? You going to see anybody cover her like that? Dedicated videos to Bridget Carleton. Dedicated videos to, what's another player that's really under the radar? Maddie Westbell, who just got drafted. Maddie Seegers. I'm going to see dedicated videos for them. You might see Cam Brink get one. You might see Kate Martin get on a few channels and stuff too. But Kelsey Plum, Sabrina Ionescu. But are you going to see these other girls? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Somebody got to do it, and I'm going to do it. Because I think the game is changing anyways, and so the demographics in the game is changing anyway. So I definitely think this is the time to shine light on these white ball players. That's coming into the league. So you can take it for what it's worth. But Bree Hall was definitely not released for no racial bullshit. No, not at all. Especially this team. This team, the team that only got 3 white girls on it. Hell no. Hell no. You would have been on to something if it was a team that had literally 8 to 9 white girls on it. You might have been on to something there. I might have agreed with you on that. I might have agreed with you on that. But no, not this one. Try again. Come again. Well, hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. I definitely want to put my 2 cents on this one, man. But I got more videos coming up, man. I'm very spirited right now, man, because the WNBA is right around the corner. The new season. It's been great. It's been a lot of stuff to talk about, man. That's been a great thing about it. I'm not going to be able to get some of the videos that I made from previous days. I'm going to get that Serena Sundell one up. I'm going to get that one up. I made that one already. I just need to get it up now. I need to render it. But go ahead and give me your thoughts on this. Give this video a like, share, subscribe. Good luck to Bree Hall for real, though. Let's see if she lands anywhere. But give this video a like, share, subscribe. Thank y'all for watching. Aces Angels, y'all.